time, nigga. They couldn't comprehend what I accomplished cause they never came up from nothing. A beautiful struggle the way that I got it, you might see that shit is disgusting. Oh yeah, they hated on me for no reason, but fucking my nigga, I love it. I am a testament of what can happen whenever you focus and use your mind. I put in the time. It was a battle, I fought it, I won it, I stood on the line. I put in the time. Never complain about the process even when the sun didn't shine. I put in the time. You gotta wait for your time. It's just a matter of time. All good things come to you when you work and you put in the maximum effort. I know it's all about the dedication that you put in this shit, nigga. I get my foot on the gas from the day that I started this shit. Never let up that bitch. I'ma rev the engine till it's no longer running. It's not a question of how bad do I want it. It's more like a matter of time. I trust in the process, it's fine. In control of my destiny, I could never let this shit get the best of me. I know a higher power steady blessing me. I'm investing in myself. Give a fuck if niggas help. Know that I'm giving them hell till I meet the reaper. I'm on track with my shit like I wear Adidas. And my battery full, that's a special feature. I'm a different creature and I'm killing leeches. Get the fuck off of me, please. Only in me I believe. I will not make an excuse, my nigga. I get this shit by any means. They couldn't comprehend what I accomplished cause they never came up from nothing. A beautiful struggle the way that I got it, you might see that shit is disgusting. Oh yeah, they hated on me for no reason, but fucking my nigga, I love it. I am a testament of what can happen whenever you focus and use your mind. I put in the time. It was a battle, I fought it, I won it, I stood on the line. I put in the time. Never complain about the process even when the sun didn't shine. I put in the time. You gotta wait for your time. It's just a matter of time. All good things come to you when you work and you deal with your cause the way that they were dealt to you, nigga. I play my hand and I don't need to shuffle. See you crack the ceiling when they put that shit over me. Took some time to get them people to notice me. I'm getting closer to be where I need to be. If you ain't starved with me, no, you can't eat with me. No need to smile in my face. I feel the hate. Secretly, you just compete with me. Hang on forever. You cook your shit in the microwave. Mine's out the oven, it's better. I did this shit with intentions of lasting for centuries. You in this bitch for a second. This shit ain't a game, no, this shit is my life. So I'm playing for keeps and you playing like second. I cannot respect it. The chip on my shoulder from lack of attention. I'm feeling neglected. That's just a syndrome of a middle child from a dark hole, like a lone wolf in the deep woods. I took the route with the detours. They couldn't comprehend what I accomplished cause they never came up from nothing. A beautiful struggle the way that I got it, you might see that shit is disgusting. Oh yeah, they hated on me for no reason, but fucking my nigga, I love it. I am a testament of what can happen whenever you focus and use your mind. I put in the time. It was a battle, I fought it, I won it, I stood on the line. I put in the time. Never complain about the process even when the sun didn't shine. I put in the time. You gotta wait for your time. It's just a matter of time. All good things come to you when you work and you put in the
Where'd you go? I miss you so, and I don't think I've ever felt so alone. Yo, some days they just don't hit. Some days I wanna quit, give up all this music shit and dip. I used to think that this would make me happy if I made it, but lately I've just been so uninspired and keep complaining about everything in my life and home. I'm always on the phone, more people listen now, but I've never felt more alone. And I don't know if that's a product of the job or more the fact I call it a job now. And I refuse to stop when I'm feeling run down to try to see my friends. If you ignore enough of them, you'll stop receiving texts. And when I am around them, I'm too stuck inside my head. So then I don't enjoy the moment, I just fear the day it ends. So I want you to know I'm a little fucked up, and I just can't shake it. More close to breaking than I've ever been at any point in my whole life. Staying up and I'm talking to myself like, where'd you go? I miss you so, and I don't think I've ever felt so alone. Where'd you go? I miss you so, and I don't think I've ever felt so alone. Please come back home. My girl loves me, don't know if she's still in love with me. I ain't had a drug but don't feel like I'm in recovery. Overthink the future, then everything starts to fuck with me. Feel like I get used for this content until they're done with me. but I should be happy. Look at these numbers doubling. All the while the thoughts that has gradually gotten troubling. Got an empty tank, it's just fear and depression running me. While I built this up, my life was crumbling down. They say that everything in life is beautiful. I try to keep that in the forefront of my mind, but yesterday I fantasized my funeral. And that's the happiest I've been in some time, so I don't know what's going on, but I know it used to help when I would put it in these songs. I always feared that I would end up here just like my mom, but she would isolate and get depressed and try to end it all. Yeah, it's scary cause I finally understand that all the things you thought would fix the problems really can't. Like why the fuck I feel this way if nothing's really bad? Cause happiness is not the absence of being sad, so I guess I'm kinda fucked up and I just can't shake it. More close to breaking than I've ever been at any point in my whole life. Looking back at all the good times we felt like. Where'd you go? I miss you so, and I don't think I've ever felt so alone. Where'd you go? I miss you so, and I don't think I've ever felt so alone. Come back home.
All right, I had to make sure before I started talking. I hadn't reset my microphone in a couple hours, so good morning, people. My sleep schedule's all screwed up again. I got Elden Ring, which I didn't think I was gonna buy that game, but I decided to cave because everybody's talking about it, and I've lost my life to it. Which, dude, I swear to God, like for the past like 5-6 years, there has not been like a consistent string of video games that have taken my attention away from like daily life. But this past like couple months, it just has been banger after banger after banger of video games. And I'm happy, but also at the same time, it's annoying because I get sucked into world after world after world. First it was, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and then it went Ratchet and Clank, and then it went Last of Us, and then it went God of War, and then Horizon Forbidden West, and so many other ones that just kind of fell down the rabbit hole. It's been a good string for video games past couple, and I mean, the new God of War comes out hopefully by the end of this year, so I mean, oh man, it's just going to get better and better. Let me go ahead and switch over. I think I might have to set up my camera again. Forgive me if I look a little bit messed up right now. I'm trying to get it to work right now. There we go. Oh, I need to turn up the gain. I like how I said, oh, Jesus, that's too much. There we go. Fantastic. All right, guys. So I had a pleasant surprise in my email this morning, which I typically don't check Bybit's emails. They're usually garbage, like every single time. But this time came with something a little bit different, which is something I've actually been looking forward to because, I try to keep up with Ryan's coins because, we have a cordial relationship. And they added KDA to Bybit this morning, or maybe yesterday, maybe I just missed it, but I'm actually super happy about that because now I'm not gonna like be heavy into it, but I mean if there's an ABC setup, I'll take it because I know like people have opinions about Ryan. I don't agree with everything he does like on the trading side, but you have to admit he does research the hell out of coins. And he actually understands the technology probably more than I do, which is something. So if he says KDA is something to keep an eye on, I'm going to keep an eye on it. So like I said, I'm not going to be, throwing like 25% of my portfolio into KDA or anything like that, but I'll leverage trade it if there is a setup. Now, at the moment, I wouldn't say there's necessarily a setup. I've just kind of gone back in time and looked at some of these. Just make sure the audio is good. Some of these ABC setups from the past here on the 1 hour chart. And these are the 3 support levels. So right now I'm just playing off of this one right here. But there is definitely a possibility of possibly coming down a little bit lower. Here's what it is. Now, market itself has been pumping up since last night. I've gotten stopped out of pretty much all of my shorts. I had a short on XRP, XMR, and LTC. And I've gotten stopped out of all 3. Now, XRP, I've killed it on the last couple of trades here. So this is when I started playing. I started playing off of this short position right here at 81.2 cents. And it was a $45 loss. Sucks to suck. But then immediately following that up, we came out with $466 worth of profit, and then minus 44 after that. So I was just taking some of these hedge trades, and price action just so happened to drop fast enough that I wanted to go ahead and take some profit. There was, I was looking for a possibility of a retest, and there was. So right here was where I entered off of this bigger ABC setup. And pretty much immediately following us coming back under that line, I didn't get stopped out or anything. We just kind of fell another 5%. I was using quite high leverage, so that's why we came out with about $300 off of 5%. Now, I think I was only using maybe $150, $200 worth of margin, which at the point in the account, that's a little bit under 1%, maybe 0.75, 0.5%. So the only thing risky about it was I was using probably about 25x leverage, which I wouldn't recommend. But once we got down to that region, I took the profit, and then we had a little bit of a retest. I took the short. Once it came back down, I took the short again. Well, I took profit on that short, and then I tried to reshort, and then we came back up. Now I'm not talking about right here. I'm talking about I reshorted right here off of this smaller time frame ABC. And that wick stopped me out, and I'm probably expecting it to proceed further to the upside. So, same thing with Ethereum. Ethereum's been popping off to the upside. Now, one thing I do want to do today is kind of scan the market for any potential ABC setups for the short positions, because as always, I've been holding these longs for 3 weeks now. It's kind of ridiculous at this point, but it's been a relaxing time. I've seen a lot of people talking about how shady the market is right now, the sideways price action, all that kind of crap. And I get that. That's why it's so important that if you see these larger time frame setups, such on BTC, Ethereum, whatever it might be, you take them and you hold on to them. And then if you do want to play on smaller time frames, have a separate account or do what I'm doing. I have my long positions that are my macro positions. Like I said, for BTC, I'm looking for 52,000. And then, for my scalps, I'm just playing shorts to the downside, taking short-term profit. And so far, it's been really paying off. The account right now is at $3,641. Now, it would be at $4,400. No, not $4,000. $4,040. My bad. I had to withdraw about $400 to help a family member out. I figured, I've already made some good gains on this account. Might as well take it for something that is pretty much free. So it's unfortunate, but hey, what are you going to do? You got to help family sometimes. But let's see. Let's go ahead and go to LTC. Like I said, a lot of people are discounting LTC right now. And like I said, I get why. Maybe people aren't necessarily happy with the performance it had, which, stop being a little crybaby bitch boys. That's all I'm saying. From the bottom of the last bear market to the top of this bull market, there's about 1,500%. All right, about 15x. So not too shabby. I'm sorry if it wasn't your, 90,000% Shiba, but hey, what are you gonna? It pretty much followed Bitcoin exactly in terms of percentage, which that's what you want to see from LTC. You want to see Bitcoin similar performance because it's supposed to be the follow-up to Bitcoin. Once Bitcoin gets too big for smaller transactions for regular people, LTC is supposed to kind of fill that void. And like I said, with them, pretty much all these major coins adding some sort of privacy to them, it's just going to only increase the price. So, like I said, I mean, this is not financial advice. I'm not saying dump all your money into LTC. I'm just saying take a look at it. That's all. Like I said, I've been holding since around $62, and I will continue to do so. This last bear market was my first major buy-in on LTC. Kind of missed the boat on the 2016 bull market, which I'm very sad about. But hey, now KDA, it might suck a little bit, but I don't know. Like if we are able to pick up just even a smaller entry, I mean, look at some of these past ABCs. If you would have just kind of held on to them. Now I'm talking about on the 1 hour time frame, looking for legitimate structures. I'm not talking about playing all this hoopla over here. All right, you're waiting for structures that you can see definitive natures in. I mean, this one right here, from the time of entry, probably would have gotten stopped down maybe once or twice. Hey, that's a part of the deal. That was like 88% at the top side. And then depending on, I'm sure Bybit would have put in the higher high. Typically on spot exchanges, you mostly get double tops. You don't get that higher high. So right there, I mean, you had that ABC to the downside, could have taken a small scalp. So, I mean, that right there, if you're on 10x leverage, that's 870%. So, that would have been pretty fantastic, I will have to say. So, looking for something like that. And with the volume that Bybit can bring into a coin like this, I'm sure it might do well. And I mean, I can't really say anything for the validity of whether or not it's going to adhere to structure like Bitcoin does or Ethereum does. But at the moment, on the larger time frames on KDA, we are seeing sort of a ABC structure like this. And then we've seen price action coming, using that as resistance at the moment. So for me, if you can get back above $8.45 on KDA, you could see it run a little bit. And I might be trying to make a larger structure, I do admit, something like that. And then possibly take another dive to the downside to form an even larger ABC. But if not, you can see that we have large uptrend, large downtrend, and the possibility of trying to go and test a new high. All right, I don't know what the market's going to do with this retest, or if it's going to retest at all. Right now, it's still kind of theoretical, but so far so good. We've kind of been holding pretty well around this region, and I think it's really just, I don't want to use that phrase. I think it's I don't want to say market makers messing with people, but it's people with high dollar amounts taking advantage of people that are just playing the market willy-nilly. All right, there was key integral points to buy, and right now, if you're playing on those 1 minute time frames, you're gonna get wrecked. All right, that's why you haven't really been seeing me take any shorts or anything on BTC, Ethereum, or LTC, because there just hasn't been any short setups. There was on LTC, but on BTC and Ethereum, there's been nothing of substance in the market the past couple of days. I mean, you just look at what's happened over here. There's nothing. There's nothing that compares to the positions I've already had. If anything, it was another long position. That was the only thing that I could have possibly seen that was worth taking. No short positions, though. All right. In terms of like macro to verse what I'm actually playing. All right, there was maybe that one right there, but like I said, very insignificant. All right, so at the moment, I do see on BTC and Ethereum the possibility of possibly going up a little bit higher, which would be good short term. This would be possibly the next point that I'm looking at. Well, these 2 points right here for shorts hedges. Like I said, this one right here is possibly the most important. All right. This one would be a short-term retest. Once again, people, building liquidity off of people that are just playing the market willy-nilly. But this one in particular is one that actually could change the entire structure, whether or not we're going to kind of just continue downwards rather than continue up to retest 52K. Because you can see right here, we have uptrend, downtrend, and if we put in that higher high and then come back down and stay below 45,841, that is going to be bearish in my book, and I will continue to hedge a short position around that region. Now, obviously, when we first get to it, I will take the position, but if the market kind of just moves sideways in that region, I will be using the smaller time frames trying to find kind of the epitome structure, if you want to call it that. But that's the here, I'll mark it out for you guys if you can't see the numbers. So these are the two places that if we do happen to put in higher highs than these two numbers and come back below them, I will be taking short hedges. But until then, there's really nothing to do. I'm just kind of sitting on the sidelines, taking longs. Like I said, KDA, it's just what I'm doing right now. And then Ethereum, similar type setup. Now, Ethereum has to go up substantially more in order for me to really say anything bad about it. We have to come all the way back up to 3,300, which, I mean, that would just be a miracle. It really would. So, if that happens, I'll be taking a hedge position from there. And then on the smaller time frames, I don't know if I want to play that one. I might, but considering how far BTC needs to come up versus how far Ethereum needs to come up, I'm just not quite sure if I want to take that chance. Because Ethereum, unlike BTC only has really, two positions, 42,595 and 45,885. Now, obviously, there is one at 45,360, but it's so close between these two. I'm just going to kind of wing it once we get there. But on Ethereum, we have 3 possible short hedge positions that we could hop into. So I really don't know what my decision is going to be on that. I might just play it when the time comes, but we'll see. Because I do want to get into a short position as quick as possible. Just make sure that I'm on the safer side. Overall, like I said, I'm still bullish, but just because I'm taking short positions doesn't mean that I'm going against what I think. It's just you got to be safe. That's all there is to it. And so far, the past couple of weeks have been pretty magical. Like I said, it's not the same 1K to 5K that we had in the first week where I was playing small time frames, high leverage, but at the same time, I've lowered my risk quite substantially, and still I'm able to put in 100% to the portfolio. So I'm looking to keep that going. Now, LTC at the moment is kind of sitting in a bearish setup. So I'm not quite sure whether or not I'm going to take that. I just might, because like I said, I want to make sure that I'm staying safe. Just to have that there. All right, let me rechat. Did you play Elden Ring? Yes. So much. And I kind of did cheat. I'll be honest. I did like the bird thing where you make the bird fall off the cliff. And, but I feel like it's just smart. Because I mean, at this point, I could just farm other ways, but just so easy. And the game's still hard. Like I've leveled up pretty much past the point that I should be, but I still suck. I still can't beat certain bosses. Guy, I don't care. I don't know if you care what I have to say, but maybe it's smart to only talk about percent and the sums. I agree. So I've had people that come on the stream and go, "Why are you worried about $100? You know, why aren't you trading with such and such amount?" And typically, it's like the crypto face fanboys that, for whatever reason, they like to see people trade with high dollar amounts, and either it's you like to see other people lose lots of money, or I don't know, maybe it's just it gives you like a sense of vicariously living someone else's $1 million life. But even though I'm talking in sums, it comes from a beginner's place. So all these accounts, I've started off with something that I'm not going to say everybody can afford to put into the market right away, but definitely not hundreds of thousands of dollars. So this account started with $1,000, and I even bombed it the first time and had to refill it to 1,000. So, you know, I like to talk about the sums starting from where we came from, not just throwing out money because I want to sound cool. I remember started trading, how nerve-wracking each single trade could be. Was it just me not knowing what I was doing? No, it's not just you. And like I said, the main thing is understanding what you want. All right, have a clear and concise plan of action. And whether or not it works out to a T or if it monstrously fails, because you have that straight and narrow pathway ahead of what you want to see from the market, you're not going to be questioning whether or not it can happen. That's the whole point of the market. No one can call the market. It's all luck. Now, the whole point is through these slight different variations, whether it be, market cipher, RSI, MACD, bullish pennants, whatever strategy it is, typically it's a way to find out just a small percentage that the probability can go in your favor, and you play that. That's all it is. And once you understand that, there is no reason to worry because there's nothing you can do. Worrying makes sense when you can take an action that will stop the outcome that is negative. If you're going to trade, there's nothing you can do. You make a plan, you set the plan in motion, whether it makes you $1 million or whether it loses you 20, you do it. That's all it is. Hey Kite, did you take a look at sushi yet? I took a look at it this morning. I don't think anything remarkable was of interest to me. Because like I said, I don't really want to get caught playing the smaller time frames, and I missed this entry right here. This was the last ABC entry on sushi. It was all the way down at $2.77. So at the moment, I don't know what I'm going to do in terms of where I'm going to hop back into. If anything, if the market really does get bullish, it's going to be either here or here, which it's going to kind of suck because that's a lot of percentage points to miss out on. But it is what it is. I have some high hopes for sushi, so we'll see what happens. ETH short position, you said 3,300, and what other the other two? For me, like I said, I mean, I haven't really 100% decided whether or not I'm going to take this first short, but most likely I will, because it's a low risk, but it can save my ass a lot of money if it does happen to fall off a cliff. But I'll mark them out. I'll tell you what, I'll do this. I don't want to generalize too many people. I know not everybody in the market cipher community is like that, but I was a part of it. I was in that Discord pretty much every single day. So I have a good idea of what the typical MC player is like. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with exploring avenues. I wish it was a little bit cheaper for me to do it, but here's what it is. I think, regardless of where you're at, the main draw to Market Cipher wasn't really the indicator. It's just I met a lot of good people, but I don't know. If I was to do it again, I probably wouldn't. I was taking a look at XMR this morning. It's kind of waiting for us to put in a higher high off of 194.65 and use that as possibly a short entry for this larger structure that I was building here. Which, let me go ahead and get an alert set up on that because I don't want to miss that. Crypto face and flopping groper. Like I said, I try to not talk about that side of things too much. I never had a problem with crypto face. Now, like Ryan, I disagree with some of his choices, but crypto face was quite nice to me. When I made my tutorial, that kind of popped off. He reached out to me and he just said, "What's your BTC address?" And he sent me $1,500. So I'm very upfront about that. He never disrespected me. It was flopping groper. So that's the problem, is when you get involved with more than one person, and that person who is a part of your team does something shady, it looks bad on the other person as well. That's why I'm kind of a solo man team. I've had other YouTubers talk about, you should get a manager, you should do this, you should do that. I feel like the more people that you get involved with this type of stuff, you, one, lose your integrity, and two, you just don't have the same level of control over what you want to do with it. So I just chose not to. I'd love to hear what you think about KCS, KuCoin token. Since I'm trying to get them rewards, I think it looks sweet. I'm not a big fan of KuCoin. I never really have been. I try, I've had a KuCoin account since 2016, maybe 2016, 2017. And KuCoin has always been, more than anything, the primary shitcoin site. And I don't know. I just don't like it. Now, I'm not gonna, just throw that out there. You said KCS. I'll take a look at what I'm seeing on the charts, but that's my opinion of KCS. Okay. I said, if you want to play ABCs on it, it does seem to respect it. It actually does. Like, I'm being very honest when I'm saying KCS does respect ABCs. You can see uptrend, cut into a downtrend, cut into an uptrend. Boom, there's your top. Right here. Downtrend, uptrend, downtrend. So that's your larger macro bullish ABC that right now is in play as long as you're above $17.82. And I don't know if you put in a higher high there on a different exchange or not, but and you can see over here, uptrend, downtrend, uptrend, good short position. Right here, you had a larger ABC structure, and then on the tail end of it, you can see downtrend, uptrend, downtrend, and you could have played that smaller structure into the larger structure, and look where it had a pullback to, 0.382, 0.5, that magical 0.441 region, and then dump to the downside. Unfortunately, there wasn't like any major ABC to catch that bottom, but you can't win them all. That's why we have different coins. We don't just play one coin, right? Because sometimes there's not going to be a setup, and that's the problem. When there's not a setup, people try to make a setup that's not there, right? That's why I haven't touched BTC. I haven't touched Ethereum for the past couple days / week. I've played XMR, Litecoin, and XRP because they had actual setups, and XRP ended up making me a nice bit of change. Right here, you had ABC to the downside, and then on that C wave, you have right here. So you have some pretty strong support on KuCoin, coin. You have the large macro ABC, and then you have that smaller one kind of holding up this region right here, and you can see prices reflecting that pretty well. And I mean, you were pretty damn close to putting in an ABC right here to begin with on the smaller time frames. That would have kind of just been icing on the cake, but you do have a macro ABC calling for some upwards price action. I mean, here's the thing, guys. The reason why I focus on mainly BTC and Ethereum, and I don't always talk about altcoins, is because it's inferred that if I'm, thinking that Bitcoin's going to go up, I do think most other coins are going to go up, 99% of them. Only the really, really shit coins are going to possibly continue dumping to the downside. So I get it. Everybody wants to know their personal coins entry point, but that's not what I'm here to do. All right. Hey, Royal. Hey, Kai, how are you, boss man? I'm pretty good. Like I said, my sleep schedule is kind of screwed up because I've been playing Elden Ring too much, and I'm lost right now. I don't know where to go. Like, the game doesn't give you, and the problem is it tells you where to go, but it tells you through dialogue, and a lot of the times I skip it or I'm not paying attention, and then that after the dialogue's done, you're screwed. You don't know where you're going. It's not only is the actual combat difficult, just the game itself is difficult, but I love it. I don't know if I missed it, but I appreciate if you could talk about, take a look at my question above. Thanks, man. Hey, Kite, curious to know your thoughts on why you're shorting XRP. It's been long since 71 cents on prior ABC structures. I'm not shorting it just because I'm super uber duper bearish on it. I'm shorting it because there's a short setup on it. It's as simple as that. I don't let my personal feelings dictate whether or not I do or don't take a position. If the setup is there, the setup is there. Now, on XRP, on the macro chart, yes. Oh, this is sushi. My bad. Let me go to XRP. XRP, there we go. So XRP on the macro chart does have a bullish setup. Problem is, though, it really doesn't extend that far. Now, we have this larger one right here. But we're already kind of sitting near, and we've already touched that 0.441, so there's just a lot of possibility with XRP. So the reason why I was shorting it is because we have uptrend, downtrend, uptrend. It's as simple as that, right? I guarantee without a doubt that on this day right here, right, we had a ABC setup clear as day on Bitcoin right here. Clear as day. But because that was the day that Russia invaded Ukraine, people probably thought the market was going to dump, and it was going to dump hard. So because that outside influence infected their brain, they made the decision not to take that long, even though it's as simple as it's a setup. You don't have to put your entire portfolio into it. It can be, I've been typically on most of my low risk trades, I've been using the 10-10 method. So 10-10-10, that's what I call it. 10% margin, 10% risk, 10% 10x leverage. And that pretty much comes out to 1% of my portfolio is at risk in this trade. It could have been as simple as that. And you could have played that. So that's the reason why I'm short on XRP. It's not because I'm bullish or bearish on it. It's because there's a setup. It's as simple as that. And I wouldn't have made the profit that I have if I didn't take that setup. And like I said, I mean, with these shorts, I'm not shorting all the way. I'm pretty bullish on the market right now. I really am. Especially with the fact that pretty much all currencies are kind of in a state of flux right now. You know, petrodollar might be threatened. There's so much going on that there's a power grab. And I think if people kind of own up to it, the power grab can go to nobody. I think that would be pretty beautiful. So that's why I've been kind of bullish on XMR. Most importantly, I literally said to Ryan the day before XMR pumped so hard, I was like, you should probably buy some XMR. I didn't know this shit was going to happen. I'm not an insider, guys. I don't know what the hell this was. I don't know if it was Putin. I don't know if it was an oligarch buying so much XMR, trying to buy drugs on the dark web. I don't know. But you could see that coming from a mile away with people trying to hide currency right now. Hey Kite, I know you answer it probably every stream, but is it inverse perpetual or USD margin? We can go long and short at the same time. USDT perpetual. I'm sure USDC can do it as well. I haven't really played with USDC at all because I believe it's just Bitcoin at the moment. So I just haven't touched it. But I use USDT perpetual. Was it you or Ryan talking about waves? It was Ryan. So I took a look at waves when it was pumping up that day. I just didn't really see any, like ABC tops or anything like that for me to like really play it. I know some people in my chat, or not my chat. Well, yeah, I guess my chat, Discord. They have been looking at Rune past couple of days, which very unfortunate. All right. I think when people were looking at it, they were looking at it right here, which that's where it makes the most sense to do so. And I mean, depending on how your stop loss was set up, you probably wouldn't got stopped out, probably 4 or 5 times, but then it would have ripped to the upside. I mean, you can chase that thing all the way up. You can start playing on smaller time frames. It's just not worth it. If that larger macro doesn't work out, or at least close to it, there's no point in trying to chase that all the way up. I wonder if there's anything. Now, I will admit, like, it's been pretty pretty good. Playing some of these shit coins. Right here on people, a couple losses, and then $300 win. Right here, between that $300 win, I'm not gonna want. Let's see. That's 49. I want to say like probably about $300 to $400 worth of losses right here before that $300 win. But before that $300 to $400 worth of loss, we had an $800 win. And all I've really been doing is just watching the 24-hour price change. This is lagging really bad. Let me make sure that this is pumping out full power. There we go. I've just been watching the 24-hour price change for these shit coins. And when they pump up, 20, 30, 40%, obviously I'm not just shorting the short. I do want to see at least some sort of ABC setup. So like right here on Jasmine, whatever this coin is, you can see on the higher time frames here, we have the possibility of coming up and forming an ABC top pretty soon. So, like I said, on these shit coins, I'm not using the same level of risk. It's 0.5% risk, sometimes even less. Because when you're dealing with R&Rs that are so substantial, there's no real reason to go too crazy with it. As well as that you need to be using significantly less margin because depending on which way you're trying to trade the market. All right, Jasmine has a significantly high funding rate towards longs right now. So that means you're pretty much safe to go ahead and try to short this if you are in the correct area to do so. But if you had extremely negative funding rate and you were trying to short, you're going to get a lot more loss on your stops, which if you're using your typical risk percentage, it's going to be a lot. So that's why I use 0.5%. That way, if that is the case, that extra loss equals to 1% or very, very close to it. I'm not going to be on here too much longer, maybe like 20, 30 minutes, just because I promised my sister that we would blow the leaves in the yard into a big pile, which I'm actually pretty excited about. I bought 2 leaf blowers past couple of months because I was looking for something to, it's going to sound really stupid, but dry my car so I don't have to touch it. Which, after you put on like hyper wax or anything like that, that makes it hydro repellent, yeah, then you can use a leaf blower to blow off the car. But before that, no, it's just going to streak. I got one of those Ego leaf blowers, the super high powered ones. They blow everybody else out of the market. See what I did there? It's a leaf blower, blow everybody. Yeah, I know, I'm pretty cool. So trust me, I get that. Tether is a little bit dodgy, but you're still using regular US dollars, right? That's just as dodgy. All right. The whole thing is if you're a good Ponzi, the Ponzi's going to last pretty damn long. US has lasted, 150, 200 years. So we're still kicking. All right. My thing is Tether was here during 2016, 2017, and 2018, all throughout the bear market. And they didn't really show any weakness. They had a court case and nothing really got proven or settled or anything like that. So to me, do I think that they're 100% legit? Absolutely not. Not in the slightest. But my thing is if they are fake, they're a really good one. And they're going to be around a lot longer. And once we see Bybit make a full transition to USDC, where I can trade pretty much all of the regular coins that I'm used to trading. I'm definitely going to switch towards that, but at the moment, this is what I'm left with. So, I don't have my entire portfolio in USDT by any means. So, I'm willing to take that chance. It's all up to you. So this is the problem with some of these, I won't call it a KDA a shitcoin. I feel like there's a lot of people that like this coin. But the spread on these coins is going to be a little bit different than, say, BTC. All right, right now you can see that technically I'm past 10%, but I'm not getting stopped out. That's because the market price and the limit price can be substantially different. So we'll see what happens. I thought funding rates had to do with the cost to hold a position a long time. They do, but it also affects the initial cost to get into the position as well. But don't freak out too much. All right. So like on these longs over here, on this BTC long, I maybe have been paying 15 cents, 20 cents a day. All right. It's not a whole lot. And I mean, if I had to hold this for 19 years and we really didn't get out of this range, yeah, that would suck. But the whole thing is I do expect it to go to the upside. So if we can make, if I'm able to take profit at around 52,000, all right, that's going to be about $1,500 profit. $1,500, $1,600 profit. So if I paid, 20 cents a day for 60 days, what is that? Like $10, $15? I'm not quite sure. I think that's a small price to pay for the opportunity that leverage gives me. So. I know it. It hasn't been a Ponzi since the day it started. I know it happened when we got off the gold standard, but if you really think about it, it's all stupid. Like I'm sure a lot of people have like just had the thought that it's all literally insane. Now, it serves a purpose. You have to have some sort of currency to assign value to, and most importantly, time. To either make an object or whatever it might be. But just money itself is a weird concept. Like gold is the standard for like legitimate currency, but at the same time, it's just shiny shit. That's all it is. Now, I mean, obviously nowadays it can be used for conductors and electronics, but before all the electronics, we just liked it because it was shiny. So, I mean, it's all stupid. Dude, it's March, not September. How you blowing leaves? Because the leaves fell and we never touched them. So now we're doing it before, summer's actually here. That way the grass isn't just dead. You only have to pay the funding leverage is used. I don't know what you mean by that. But the way it works is you pay based off of your actual value of the trade. So say, for example, BTC. BTC's funding rate is 0.01%. All right. So I'm not paying 0.01% of $406. I'm paying 0.01% of $3,634, which is my margin times my leverage equals the value. And I pay that every single 8 hours. If funding is positive and you're in a long, you pay funding. If funding is positive and you're in a short, you get paid funding, which is pretty cool. I finally popped my cherry last night. Okay, well, good for you, dude. Opened a couple trades. Been paper trading for about 6 months now, and finally think I can trust my skills, if I can call them that. That's what's up. I'm glad you did that beforehand. So hopefully, you proved to yourself that you can have a profitable account for a decent period of time. I mean, it's not exactly the same. You're gonna run into psychological issues that aren't really present on fake accounts. Now, like, I applaud people that can like convince themselves that their fake account is real, and that way they treat it the same. But I don't know, it's very few and far between that can do that. But I'm glad you at least paper traded that long. Okay, I have trouble getting in a profit. It seems every trade I make is just rubbish. Is it really just as simple as playing ABC setups? So, it depends on mostly you. Now, I don't want to say this as a cop-out. I'm not saying ABCs are perfect and that you're just rubbish. All right, but I will say this. All right, I get a lot of messages daily, and not all the time can I get back to people. I have received messages such as, hey, I've been using ABCs for 3 months and I have not had any success with them. What am I doing wrong? And typically, I find that the people that are having a lot of bad success with it are, one, not approaching it with the same mindset. One, all right, it is not foolproof. Just because you see an ABC does not mean it has to work itself out. As well as that, what type of coins are you playing? Are you playing primarily the big boy coins? Or are you playing altcoins? Because if you're playing altcoins, you are subject to so many other factors besides ABCs. One, low liquidity. It's easy for someone to go in and push price action around and screw up your stop loss. So if you're playing with high leverage, you're going to get dogged on. Two, the funding rate will screw you over because when you get stopped out, you're going to lose a lot more than you thought you would. All right, so that's why I typically, use the higher risk on, say, BTC and Ethereum, and then I'll still play altcoins because, hey, it's fun, and I'm a crypto addict. But I have enough of a smart mind to say I don't need to use the same level of risk because, one, those factors I talked about, and two, the reward, if it does happen to work out, which it doesn't have to, is much, much greater. So it's all even in the end. As well as that, they tend to not really be playing smart. They kind of go, balls deep towards one side of the market, and they get themselves in too deep in the hole. What I mean by that. So you look at my chart right now. All right. I'm, like I said, I'm honest. I'm leaning towards the long side. So I have 3 longs. I just had 4, but one got stepped out because it's a little tiny shitcoin. And then I have, an LTC trade because it's the only coin that has a legitimate ABC setup that is active right now. All right. So, I have something that in case the market was to just crash to the downside, all right, LTC would save me a little bit of money. All right. Like I said, the whole point of hedge trading is not to walk away with more money than what is currently in your unrealized profit loss. All right. I am not trying to make up for the full $700, $800 that I am in unrealized profit on these longs. All I'm simply trying to do is cover the, 80, $120 worth of stops that are sitting here, as well as, if I can, make a little bit of money. That way it wasn't a waste of my time for those longs to be sitting there that entire time. All right. Hedge against yourself when the time is right. All right. Now, that's the key. When the time is right. Are you playing the time frames that matter? And if you are playing on the smaller time frames, do you have realistic standards for what those are? And are you paying attention to the macro time frames so that you can play that into the smaller time frames to have a higher win percentage? Like I said, I mean, those are typically the problems that I find with people that are, constantly saying that ABCs don't work. Like I said, you need to be taking into account the entirety of trading. A strategy does not make a trader profitable. It's the way they approach the market. Are you making smart decisions about how you're risking based on what coin you're using? Do you have one account that is focused on the larger time frame and then one account that is taking advantage of the smaller time frame? Now, for me, I do that all on the same account. I have the macro trades, which is the macro ABC long that we're trying to play into, but I'm taking scalp shorts, over the long period of time. And we've made tons of money off of the scalp shorts over the past couple of days, which is exactly what you want to see. All right, we're making use of the time right now that these trades are kind of just moving around. They're not really doing much, and we can't take profit on them until we reach some of the targets that we would like to see. But I've also had people that reached out to me that have, started with $5,000 and they're up to 90K now. And I want to say it's not a whole lot of people, maybe 10 people have reached out to me with that kind of success. And that's amazing. And I wish it was more. And my thing is I think anybody that sticks to it, it will be that number, that 10, 10 to 20 or so that have reached out, that will grow. And mostly the reason why those people are so high in a profit is because they were able to start with 5, 10K. I know not everybody has that. I don't think everybody should. All right, if you're just starting out with trading, don't do that, dude. All right, that's why I do these, $100,000, $500,000 portfolios, because I want to show you that you don't have to start with $10,000 in your pocket. Save that for a rainy day. Put 1,000 in the market, and just play the larger time frames over a long period of time. That's all you gotta do. Please, tutorial ABC. I got one. I mean, if I didn't do a good enough job, just let me know. If you go to my channel, I don't know what's wrong, but for some reason I can't play my own videos. Now, if it does it right now and it works, I'm gonna be so mad because it has not worked the past couple of days. But I can only play them on my phone. Okay, now it works. I hate myself, dude. Of course, I complain about it on stream in front of people, and then it works. But ABC strategy tutorial. This is what you're looking for, most likely. And I mean, it's pretty easy to find. It's like the only one with the different thumbnail out of like the last 30. What was your last challenge account profit? I forgot what we started with. I think it was $1,500, but we ended up somewhere around like 40 to 50K because I withdrew 25, 30K for down payment, and then the rest went towards a family member. So. Hi, I have about $300 total. Could you give me your opinion on how much percent should I put my stop loss? That sounds like a lot like financial advice. You're literally telling me how much you have and what you should do with it. It's depending on how you want to play the market, my dude. All right? You just have to be honest with yourself. What do you want from the market? And are you willing to reap the rewards that that type of playstyle might have, or deal with some of the faults that that playstyle might have? All right? If you play on the larger time frames like the 30-minute, hourly, 2-hour, and you're playing structures like this with, 1 to 2% stop losses, you're going to have a much easier time in the market. Now, you might be going, well, at that point, I'm wasting my time, Austin, with $300. If I'm only making, 6 risk reward ratio trades every other week, I'm really just wasting time, because if you're using 1% risk, that's $3, and if you hit a 7 risk reward ratio trade, you add $21 to the portfolio. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. That's close to what? It's like 6.6% to your portfolio through that one trade. Keep it up. Keep that same momentum going. All right. But if you want, you can play smaller time frames, tighter stop losses, reap the reward of higher risk reward ratio. If we just take it from a 2% stop to a 1% stop, that takes your 7 risk reward ratio much, much higher. I might have been using a 1.5 on that first one, but it would have worked out here. So hell, do it if you need to. And that way you would have added 12% to your portfolio. Would have been somewhere around like $32. If you don't have like a lot of time to dedicate towards the charts, whether that be searching for setups daily or setting up alerts, getting up in the middle of the night, if you have work, pulling off to the side on your phone, trying to set up a trade on a small ass screen, if that is your situation and you can't do those things, don't trade the smaller time frames. Trade the larger time frames. Like I said, 1 hour, 30-minute. These types of structures. Now, like I said, this is the most important part. When I'm talking about the 30-minute and the hourly and the 15-minute, it's always referring to it completely zoomed out. All right? There's a big difference between being on the 30-minute and your chart looking like this and completely zoomed out. All right? How long did that portfolio take? It took a decently long period of time. I remember we started it somewhere around, I don't know if we started it as we were coming out of the bull market. So I remember taking profit at 3,500 on Ethereum, and then I kind of transferred that to all my other coins, and then I pulled out of the market. So I think I started the next portfolio either like here or at the bottom here. I'm not sure, but for all intents and purposes, it took me pretty much like 6 months to start from 1,500 to 50K. And this one's been even shittier. I'm not gonna lie. We started this portfolio pretty much like right here. And so far it has been what? December, January, February, March. It's been about 4 or 5 months. And so far we're, we're 3x the account. Now I started with $1,600 technically. So 2x the account. And a little bit extra. But that's realistic. I mean, it's not every day that you can do that kind of stuff with an account. Do you also have a long-term portfolio? Absolutely. I have a HODL portfolio. Some of my buy-ins for the coins I'm holding, XMR, I've been holding ever since $26. Litecoin, $62. BTC, I've been holding that since I was a kid. But some of my recent buy-in points, I bought in here, and that's pretty much it. This was my last buy-in point for BTC. And then Ethereum, I think it was like maybe $400, $500. I think it was this, at the time I was playing basic patterns, and I bought in on that breakout right there. It ended up having a pullback, but in the end it worked out. Hey, sorry if it's already been asked, but but could you show how you enter read this trade? Which trade are you referring to, and what do you mean by enter read this trade? Oh, it has no price action on it. On buyback condition orders, can you enter stop loss and take profit in one shot? On KuCoin, stop orders will trigger, but you have to physically be there to set stop loss. You can do it all beforehand. So with conditional orders, I typically use market because my strategy involves us having to put in a plus B and then that equals C. So it's not like a preemptive strike. I have to wait for the setup, and then past that point, it's going to be a market enter as we come back above or back below the A. So that's why I use conditional market orders. And I set up the trigger price, and I set up how much I want to use, and then I hit buy long with the TP/stop loss, and I click 1010, and then I let it rip. I just meant what led you to enter the 4 trades you're in. All right, so let's cover it. All right, so I mean, I guess you're also going to wonder about the trade that I just entered, which is KDA. I am kind of using my friend Ryan's advice here. Like I said, I trust Ryan when he says something is worth looking at. For me personally, I have marked out a couple different areas where ABCs make sense. So right here was our previous long ABC. We're sitting kind of along that line. So that's why I'm willing to take the long right now. And then if we do happen to come back down a little bit more, right there. So these were the last couple of long ABCs and the support levels that were relating to them. With us sitting around this one right here, I'm willing to go ahead and play it. Now I'm in on the small time frames. You know, like I said, I don't recommend this. And if you do, make sure that you are using decent risk. All right. There's absolutely no reason to be using 5% risk on a shit coin. I know people do it. I've seen people do it. Don't do it. It's ridiculous. All right. So I'm just playing that ABC right there. And then let's go ahead and just go through the list. BTC. All right. I've been holding BTC for a couple weeks now. The reason why I am long on BTC is because there was a setup. Nothing more, nothing less. All right. And I went long on a day where a lot of people were not going long. All right. I went long on the same day that Russia invaded Ukraine. All right, which was right here. Now it was the day after. All right, it wasn't the same day because of the time zones, but we're right here. All right, we had an A, we had a B, we had a C, and once we came back above the A, I went long, and we have not put in a lower low. So I'm holding that. Like I said, I am pretty confident on the larger macro playing out. You can see right here we have A, B, C, and the market typically likes to retest the 0.382, 0.5 region. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for us to come up to around 52K or maybe even just into the 47,000, 48,000 region. That's why I'm bullish at the moment. But more than anything, it's just because we have a setup. It's not because I have a feeling. And then Ethereum. Let's check that out. Ethereum. Pretty much the same exact thing. All right. Looked almost identical on the charts to BTC. Now, only difference is I did end up getting stopped out right here. But it's an if this then that statement. A lot of people tend to kind of, I don't know, get scared if they get stopped out. All right, to me, there is no difference. That's the setup. All right, if I don't put in a lower low than that C and we come back above that A, I'm going to go long again. There's nothing stopping me. All right, because what if that's the bottom? All right. Now, I'm not saying just risk it all. As always, good risk. Have a stop loss. Be willing to get stopped out. All right, that's the biggest thing. I'm willing to get stopped out. If we come a certain percentage below that A, I'm willing to get out of my trade and wait. Not a lot of people are willing to do that. So either I'm still trying to shake Ryan of that habit, man. The problem is when the shit works, your brain forms around the fact that it worked once, so it has to work again. But the problem is not only did it save your ass, it also made you more profit. So because of that, you think it's a good thing to scale into a losing trade. Now, there's a big difference between DCAing on spot and DCAing on leverage. Leverage has a cap. Price can get to a certain point where you are completely out of money. DCAing, you can't lose unless you sell. All right. So that's what I was saying before. Like, yeah, if you scale and it works once, it fills you with so much dopamine because you saved your own ass and you made more money. Why would I not do this all the time? But there's going to come a day where you do that a couple times in a row and it doesn't work itself out. And instead of losing 1-2% of your portfolio, you lost 45%. And it's going to hurt. Hey Austin, you started your current account with 1K, lost 400 and added to no. So I started with 1K. I lost 600 and then I refilled the account to 1K, which brought the account to $1,600. Do you think H bar will make a lower low below 18.7 cents? Check it out. Oh, I didn't even check what that was referring to. Let's see. I guess we'll just use Bybit. So this was the last setup that we highlighted a couple days ago. Let's see. So actually, it's turned into a larger setup here. Which, I mean, just look at H-bar, guys. That's a hot mess. Like, you have had a good couple trades right here. You had this one right here. And then you had this one right here. But you can see the past couple of weeks has not been kind to H-bar. So you do have a setup here. You have a long setup. At the same time, look how choppy that price action is. That's absolutely ridiculous. And reason being is because you're having a massive consolidation right now. Like I said, you have this major ABC setup right here, which, depending on where you're at in the market, is either acting as resistance or it's acting as support. And then you also have this major downwards resistance right here. Like I said, I don't really like using trend lines because I think they're absolute dog on smaller time frames. But I mean, this is pretty consistent. This is a multi-month trend line right here. So I mean, there's some validity to it. All right. But you have like this underlying horizontal support and this overhead resistance, and it's capitulating hard. So the price action is going to get more and more volatile on these smaller time frames. So just be careful with it. That's all I'm saying. Which, I mean, BTC is pretty much doing the same thing as well, guys. You have these strong underlying horizontal supports, and you can see we've kind of been building up like a capitulation right here. Definitely consolidating for a bigger move. I'm just hoping that move is a retest of 52K. Like I said, I mean, once we get to 52K, at that point, it's any man's game. I do believe that once we see 52, maybe even up to 56, either way, we should see a pretty gnarly pullback, at least back down to like 44,000. But I am hoping for 41,600. To either one, that is going to be a continuation, because right now what could be happening is we have the ABCA, to the downside. And right now we are forming the ABCB to the upside, to that 52K mark. And then that is going to become a larger A, B, super fast C to the downside. And then once the market comes back above and gets back above 33, we'll be kicking again. Or it turns into a gigantic head and shoulders once we come back down and retest that 44 to 41 K range. You know, if I'm correct about that, we'll come up here, do a little bit of this, maybe a little saucy price action. Hopefully an ABC top, we catch that, comes back down, we retest this region right here, and then we form head and shoulders, and then we see some upside. Who knows? It's an entirely different market because with the 2017 bear market, obviously the US dollar has inflation all the time, but with, you know, like the 15 to 20% inflation, I forgot what we're at now. You know, I don't know if we'll see like that monster crash that everybody is expecting. And that's the thing. Everybody is expecting a crash to, you know, at least, you know, 20K. Now you got people out on the super far end of the spectrum saying 10K. I don't doubt that can still happen. All I'm saying is we're in a much different world. One, US dollar is not strong anymore. So with that fact, it takes more US dollars to make up for one Bitcoin. So it's going to keep the price higher. So I don't know if we're going to see that crazy of a pullback. Please show ABC for 5 minutes. There is no ABC on the 5 minute, dude. And if there is, it shouldn't concern you. Like I said, if there's anything I preach more than anything I say, stick to the higher time frames. If you want to go down to the smaller time frames, be my guest, but I'm not going to endorse it, nor am I going to help you. Like, this is as much as you're going to get. All right. I'm playing KDA on the smaller time frames. So far, it's cost me a little bit of money. That should show you something. What's your perspective on adding money to the trading portfolio on top of the starting amount? Changes or disrupts the metrics for tracking trades? I mean, it's all dependent on if you're like really tracking your trades. I do recommend that if you're just starting out, you do that. Me, I've been doing this so long that for me, I'm not too worried about losing these challenge portfolios. All right, so I let the money speak for itself. Obviously, I have a good idea if like I'm on a huge winning streak or a huge losing streak, but if the account's going up, it's working. The account's going down, it's not working. All right, because I don't really deviate from my trading strategy. All right, now I might approach certain situations slightly differently depending on how the market's looking, but it's always going to be that same ABC mentality. All right, so I don't really have to track the trades itself, but if you're using an entirely different strategy, track the trades, find out what your win ratio is versus what are you bringing in when you do want to trade on average. To answer your question though, should you add or subtract money? I don't think there's a negative or a positive to that. It's really depending on the situation that you're in. Are you seeing positive growth in your account? And are you adding money to the account trying to be extra risky, or are you doing it with the intention of I'm going to lower my risk now? Because that is an option. All right. If you have $10,000, all right, and you hit a 10 risk reward ratio trade with 0.5%, all right, that's what? $50. All right, so you make $500 using 0.5% of your portfolio. All All right. Do I have that right? I believe so. Yeah. Versus if you had $500 using 0.5%, that's, $25. So big difference. All right. So if you add more money to your portfolio, you can use less risk, which does make things a lot easier. That's why, the rich get rich and they stay rich, because that's the whole reason. It's not that they're nefarious, and I'm sure that there is screwed up crap going on, but at the same time, it's just a matter of they really don't have to put much on the line in order to make the same amount as someone's like 10 years worth of salary. It's how it works. It's unfortunate. You're saying, I just admitted at the beginning of this live stream, I've withdrawn $400 from this account past 2 days because I need to help somebody out. Am I increasing my risk because the account should be at $4,000? So I'm going to use my margin as if it's worth $4,000? No, because there's only $3,600 on the account. So I approach it the same exact way. So if you're adding money to your portfolio, it increases 5% or 0.5%, you'll be fine. What was that sound? I don't know what that was. Like a little ding. Okay, the only thing that isn't clear is how do you decide what margin leverage to use? 4% at 25x leverage, the same as 10 at 10x leverage. Why use one over the other? That's up to you. There is no difference. I don't know what you want me to say to that. How do you want your account set up? Now, why would you want to use higher leverage? All right. Let that sink in for a little bit. All right. I've covered this a couple times. The reason why you were using leverage at all, because you can make the same exact trades. Now, with spot trading, it's accumulation expansion. All right. With this, we can make money going down. That's one major advantage of derivatives exchanges. But more importantly than anything else that leverage trading allows us to do is manage portfolio exposure. All right. Because if you're in crypto, you do have to have some of your portfolio accessible at any point in time. Just how it has to be. All right. I have a HODL portfolio that is pretty much untouchable. All right. It's a real hassle for me to get to that money. So if I need it instantly, it's going to be a long couple days. All right. So instead of having 100% of my portfolio on, say, Coinbase, I can put 10% of my portfolio on, across a couple different online exchanges, maybe 3% on Coinbase, 3% on Kraken, and then 4% on Bybit. Now, with that 4% that I have on Bybit, if I'm using high leverage, I can make trades as if I had 50% of my portfolio on the exchange itself. And then when I make large amounts of money, I can transfer it off the exchange. Just how it goes. So, if I had $10,000 and I was using, 70% of that as margin, and then, 50% risk, and then having like 10% stop losses, yeah, I'm going to be using low leverage. But I have to keep 70% of my portfolio on the exchange at all times in order to make one trade. All right. But let's say with that $10,000, I used a margin size of, 2%. All right. And using 50% risk and, 1 to 2% stop loss. All right. Now, let's say that I want to trade Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. In order to do so, I only need around maybe 7% of my portfolio on the exchange at any given point in time in order to make the same exact type of trades as if I had half of my portfolio on there. That's why we use high leverage. Now, that can get you into trouble when you're playing on shitcoins that have high funding, though. You just have to watch it. So, logistically, in terms of risk, like from trade to trade, there is absolutely no difference in low leverage versus high leverage. The only difference is how much of your portfolio do you have to have on Bybit and at risk. Now, Bybit's a pretty secure website, obviously two-factor authentication, everything like that, pretty hard to break, all right? And with the funding, everything's pretty secure. But websites get hacked all the time. Exchanges, no matter how big they are, have had hacks. So if you have $50,000, why do you keep $50,000 on Bybit? You do not need anywhere close to that in order to make good trades. So hopefully that answers your question. Now, for me, it's a balance of, obviously, what I just talked about, portfolio exposure, not having as much as your portfolio on the exchange at one time. Now, with these challenge portfolios, 100% of the challenge portfolio is on Bybit because it's all done from Bybit. Now, as well as that, I have to think about the example I set for people on YouTube. I had someone comes into my stream for the first time. They don't know who I am, how I approach the market, what my thought process is, how I approach the math of leverage, all that kind of stuff. It's a rabbit hole. All they see is, oh, this guy has 4 trades open. One is 50x leverage and one is 5x leverage. All right, he doesn't understand, or she doesn't understand, that 5x and that 50x is the same exact risk between the two. All they're seeing is 50x versus 5x. And now they think it's a good idea to use 50x leverage without considering the fact that I'm using 1% of my portfolio as margin. And they might go use 6-7% of their portfolio as margin because they're not doing it based off of math, they're doing it based off of feeling. So I have to take into account that, it's a public facing thing as well. I just don't want people to go and do something stupid just because they saw some YouTuber doing it. You're cutting out? Oh no. What's happening? Hopefully it's not happening anymore. Hello? Oh, we're good. Should I buy or sell ETH right now? Come on, dude. Come on. Are we being serious right now? This made me sad. We just had a whole conversation about how I'm here to help you make logical and critical thought processes and not spoon feed you. I really do have to get going here, guys. So at 12:30 p.m., I'm cutting it, just so I have a deadline. So that's 8 minutes. Like I said, I gotta help my sister out today. But you guys know my feelings on the market. I took a hedge short position. I hope that if we are going to see downside, we at least get a little bit more of a pump. Like I said, I would at least like to see this ABC go into effect on Ethereum. And I mean, if we're lucky enough, maybe BTC as well. But we'll see. Now, I don't, like I said, these short positions I'm taking, I do plan on taking short-term profit. So if we do happen to have a pullback on LTC, I'll probably be taking profits somewhere, hopefully like around here, which should be a pretty decent profit. If we come back down to $100, that'd be about $159. Like I said, it's mostly to make sure that on these stops, they kind of are null and void. So, you know, if I get stopped out on Bitcoin, I'll lose $20. If I get stopped out on ETH, I'll lose 32. That's 52. And then, yeah, so it'll be about $84. So this is making up pretty much double that if it does happen to go down all the way to $100. Now, we'll see how things work out, because if it does happen to dump here, I probably would be expecting a little bit further than that. So I'm not going to throw in a take profit for it now. I'm just kind of going to see where the market takes us. But it's just kind of my backup plan, just in case. I'll try again what happened to the Luna short. I dropped the ball. So Luna did have a nice little pullback, but unfortunately, like the day that it dropped, I got wicked out of the trade, and it was too late. I can't enter once it's already, you know, all the way back down here. So this was the setup that we were talking about. Now, I mean, I didn't come up with this. Someone pointed this out, and it was a very good setup. So I tried playing it over the course of a couple of days, but unfortunately, it just ended up stopping me out, and I wasn't able to catch it. But I mean, from that entry, it had a pullback of about 12%. So not too shabby. And I mean, there is still the potential for it to come down a little bit more. Technically, if I was playing this, I probably would be holding this for more of a macro position, just because of the way it looks. Be looking for around $71. Now, like I said, I mean, I'm pretty bullish on the market, so you do have the possibility of this turning into a nice little ABC right here. Play that to the upside. Now, the song I played in the beginning, let me go ahead and add those to the songs I played on stream. It was... Shoot. I know it was... Is Where'd You Go? I Missed You So. And it was Con. Timing or Patience? I think it was Timing. I hope I don't offend anybody with some of the music that I play. Like, I know some people don't like rap music that says the N-word too much. To me, it's just, that's the musical artist's choice. And I like their music. So, to me, I can look past one word. But some people, like, get their panties on a twist. But, like I said before, I mean, I play this music because I like it. If you guys don't like it, there's no problem with that. I'm not asking you to. But, I just want to throw that out there. The songs I'm probably playing on the outro is Beast Unleashed 5, which is kind of a cringy title, I'm not gonna lie, by Vin J, which he just released this. It's pretty good. I like it. And then we'll play American Dream by Bryce Vine. But Khan just came out with a new album. I've always liked Khan, but his last there was a couple songs on a couple albums that I liked, but for the most part, a lot of his newer albums, I can tell what he's trying to do because he addressed it in the Good Book. That he's the same old dude. Pretty much each one of these albums, he's trying out like a different style of rap, seeing what sticks and what people like. But this newest album, I feel like, is where he shines. So definitely go check out Khan, his Mansion Hills album. It's really good compared to some of his newer music. Like I said, I love the dude, but yeah, just being honest. Yeah. Those are the two songs that I'm gonna play. I'm gonna load them up now, actually. And then let's see, American Dream. Like I said, guys, if you guys like the songs that I play, in the description of this video, there is a Spotify playlist called Songs I Played on Stream. But that's my my 2 cents for the day. I figured I haven't been on in about a week, so I know it's a little bit early, but hey, it's better than nothing. I'm pretty bullish on the market, but there is a couple hedge positions that are coming up, and depending on what position your account is in, it wouldn't be a bad idea to take a look at some of those at least. But all right, guys, I think we're gonna sign off for today. I really do appreciate you. Listen, guys, I know I'm not the most consistent YouTuber, but hopefully I didn't freak anybody out by the song I played in the beginning. Where Are You Now? I just thought it was a really good song. A lot of parts of it did hit home. Not suicidal or anything like that. But at some point, the live streaming kind of turned into a job. Whereas before, it was just something fun that I would do when I got home from work. And when I take little tiny breaks like that, it's so that I maintain like freshness and that this isn't a monotonous thing that happens every other day because it has to. That way I'm streaming because I want to. And that way you get a better version of me when you see me. And I mean, once in a while, like I'll go on a streak and it feels good when I do. But at sometimes I just have to take a little tiny break. And I mean, I kind of got the excuse that the video games have just been absolutely fantastic last couple of weeks, but hey, we'll see. You speak Spanish, Kite? No. I took Spanish in middle school, but like every other white kid, I learned like 5 words. I know hombre, niño, niña. Pretty much it. Carne asada, because it's delicious. But all right. I love you guys very much. I'll see you soon. I'll try to be back probably Friday because I'm sure something is about to happen in the market. Like I said, we can see that from, H-bar pretty much. And we're building kind of like a pennant on BTC and LTC and Ethereum and all those coins. So, I mean, we got some good consolidation in the market happening. So it's either going to rip to one side or the other, or it's going to whipsaw, which I'm sure a lot of people would be very happy to see. Whipsaw, if you guys don't know, is pretty much what happened like right here on the smaller time frames. It's where like we have like a pop to the upside and then boom, straight back down. So maybe that's what's going to happen. Where I mean, it's already been doing that. We have like these gigantic rushes to the upside and then straight back down. So who is to say that we don't see like a huge pump and then back down? And then guess who's going to have that entry because these ABCs, mate, I'm going to have them. All right. Enough talk. All right. Let's go ahead and do the thing. Bye.
Take a deep breath and let your mind go. Fear these days turned everybody to clones. Take a look around, we lost all control. Got me feeling like I'm the last hope in a world full of people afraid of breaking the mold. I'ma live my truth and speak from my soul. Masses only see what's televised, so the negative has been incentivized. They've been taking shots and I just let them fly. Cause every single day I wake, I feel bulletproof. If you got a problem and got a gun, you should put it to your motherfucking chest. Wanna pull the trigger until it boom. It's about time to get back to basics. Say you on my level, it's exaggeration. It's cap, the shit's graduation. 100 mil streams and name been solidified. Still they wanna take my goals and leave them minimized. Crazy what a hater will do to give them a little pride. Go and get you a job. My flow been on the rise. No, I'm making y'all sick, but I just profit off your demise. Y'all not ready for that conversation. Y'all still cool with living life in the matrix. Y'all still cool to send your kids off to school. They're programming to work minimum wages. I cannot relate, I just gotta say I'm the one that you cannot indoctrinate. Fuck the sheep, I tell them we are not the same. Y'all in prison till your mind in proper frame. Y'all are gonna miss this shit when I bring up the truth, they lose interest quick. Took a red pill and been addicted since. Now they thinking the boy worship 666. Like, whoa, y'all wanna fuck with Vicente? I run this shit like a 10K. They say you are who you hang with them. Tell them, look at what my friends make them. Calling a eulogist, I think I died and surpassed what a human is. I wasn't made in a uterus, bitch, I was made in the government lab with computer chips. Made it from the bottom, I know they waiting for me to finish. Bitch, I've been the king of my legacy, never be diminished. Only multiply with the money, so I don't need a vision. Y'all have been concerned with the way that some other people living. Take a fucking look at my team and you see that we committed. Never take a break and you out of breath, or you need a minute. Still up in the lab and I keep myself in the peak condition. Probably watch 365, I'm so lethal with it. Can't match me, rap veteran athlete. I don't write songs for hoes to get nasty. So anybody coming around looking for rappy, for left face down in the pool, the great Gatsby. Stay classy, hopping in the range. Not really, cause I'm living with toxin in my veins. I'm constantly deranged, it's not for me to gauge, but I look around and nobody talks to me the same. Hold it, let me tone it down. I just stumbled onto something so profound. Each meal I make it, these bills are raised, so my future self can ball out. Oh wow, but my vision impaired, I guess. A young boss with a millionaire mindset. I feel like I'm the main villain, but where's my threats? Cause I ain't seen the fucking skill to compare mine yet. It's like this, I just gotta survive and wreck beats, or my buzz probably be gone by next week. Does Vin J still supply the best schemes? The hometown pastors try to molest teams? Oh geez, take a look at the green I'm stacking. You don't gotta go online to see my status, and it ain't just me. My team type lavish, in a motherfucking way that we die average now. But I think it's got a hold of me. Sway doper than low dose dopamine, but hopefully I won't need coke. At least I know for me that's only led to broken dreams, but no betting on myself ain't been a gamble. 100,000 on the mantle. Put some fucking shrooms into my vodka. That's what I call flying off the handle. And I'm thinking it's time for innovation, but they looking at me like I'm an abomination. Know that everybody else is prime. I'm getting faded, so I listen to my own lines for motivation and proceed to write like this. And watch all of your fans go buy my shit. There was a time when I sang for the love, but the fame is a drug, and I'm feeling to find my fix. You little bitch, so volatile, flow been phenomenal. Chrome in your brain like clothespins and follicles. To find a fucking beat that I won't rip, impossible. Your whole clique coming to roast bin is comical. Now they hoping I see my peak, but still the fan base growing. The reach run deep with just me and epidemics, a team complete. So get to running for your life and the beast unleashed.
I do not understand.
I go to Paris for the summer. America's better. Apparently there's gold in the street. I don't care who's over there. If I see you when you're staring, your team will catch a fist through the teeth. Yeah, it's all wrong. You're telling me it's so wrong to play ball in somebody else's yard. I found God outside of a gun range. She looked me in the eye and she asked me for change. And if I had $1 for every time I didn't care, I could finally die a millionaire. Wanna play but I don't wanna fight fair. American dream, American dream is a foreign car you could only afford with a credit card. The American teen is a superstar that you see on screen on the boulevard. Shit, maybe I'm sick. Pass me the bottle, I'm pleading the fifth. Calling my exes, she know I exist. When we argue for hours and call me a dick. Click, I'll have a quarter life crisis with oil on ice, but that shit doesn't mix. Fix all of my problems. I called at the doctor, they tell me that I need a script. It's all wrong, you're telling me it's all wrong to play ball in somebody else's yard. I found God outside of a gun range. She looked me in the eye and she asked me for change. And if I had $1 for every time I didn't care, I could finally die a millionaire. Wanna play but I don't wanna fight fair. American dream but it's kind of a nightmare. It's all wrong, maybe we're too far gone to press pause on all the redemption songs. I found God and she called me insane. She said the good die young, but for you it's too late. And if I had $1 for every time